Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable President, Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Dr. Arif Alvi, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and very good evening. On behalf of Managing Committee of Leaders in Islamabad Business Summit, I'm grateful to all of you for your presence at today's dinner with President of Pakistan, Dr. Arif Alvi. I want to invite Dr. Arif Alvi, who is very respected for me individually. I worked with him in Karachi in a few projects when he was the part of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. And he's like my elder. He's a very dear friend, very humble, and a true gentleman. I want to present President of Pakistan, Mr. Dr. Arif Alvi.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mr. Aswar Ahsan, my dear friend, Mr. Ali Ikai, Excellencies, foreign delegates, corporate leaders, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good evening. I am very pleased to be here to address the Leaders in Islamabad Business Summit, which is the third business summit under the auspices of the Nutshell Forum, which Aswar has been leading since quite some time. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to interact with you. Pakistan is on a jumping board. It's ready to get a boost from the fact that Pakistan is today a very peaceful country. We have been able to manage extremism. We have been able to manage terrorism. And in the past few weeks, you must have seen that the Pakistan government and the people of Pakistan are desperate and will make sure that there is peace in the region. We bent over backwards to make sure that there is peace. We tried to handle the situation in a very positive manner. As soon as this government came in, the Prime Minister, Mr. Imran Khan, offered a hand of peace to our neighbor in India. But there has been some belligerence. I don't want to go into the details of that. But internationally, I think we can hold our head high to have given a very clear message to the world that Pakistan wants peace and Pakistan will ensure the fact that there is peace in the region. That is definitely related to the summit today. That is related to the fact that when businessmen from abroad and even businessmen in Pakistan should have a feeling that their investments will not be will not come through uncertain situations or will not face uncertain situations, that their investments are safe, that their investments will provide a good return. And for that, Pakistan is also looking at other fronts where we need to do, and we are doing, institutional strengthening to make sure that when investment, the local investment also. We believe that unless Pakistanis invest in the country their own wealth and they're not afraid of investing, unless that is done, the foreign investor doesn't come. So we want to make sure that there is ease of doing business. There are many sectors which have gone through turmoil and gone through some depression. I met them recently, and I met them 4 months ago. When I met them 4 months ago, for example, Aptama people or the Textile Manufacturers Association office bearers, they were full of demands that this needs to be done, that this needs to be done before we can come out and invest. And I met that delegation 3 days ago or 4 days ago, and they were very optimistic by the changes this government has brought in. And that is what is happening throughout the business sector, investor sector in Pakistan. So I believe that this is a good omen, that Pakistani businesses and Pakistani industries are looking forward to the next few years. And through the same thing, we have relieved some pressure which was there as soon as this government come in regarding our foreign exchange reserves, etc., and regarding our ability to pay that. And the government has looked at the export sector, and I think there is an uptick in exports as well and reduction of imports, and I'm sure within the next few months you will see the change which is happening. You must have met, or Mr. Asad Umar must have come here and talked about ease of doing business. I think that is very important, and we in the international rankings also have targeted the fact that within the next year we should jump some rankings, maybe 10 or 20 rankings, and make sure that the world understands the fact that there is ease of doing business. That and the fact that this government has been against corruption. If our own investors and the foreign investors start looking at Pakistan, they have to be sure of the inputs they given and whether a premium will be charged further on as their business expands or as their business becomes successful. If they are unsure of the fact, if they think that there is going to be some corruption later on, and the fact that it may put a markup on their profits or reduce their profits further, it is an uncertain situation. So therefore, this government has given a message throughout the world. It has made sure of the fact that there should be no corruption, and that has been responded to by some foreign companies, including a few names. I can take Cargill, I must take the name of people who have come to Pakistan and who have realized the fact that the corruption will reduce, and therefore their confidence to be able to invest in Pakistan is increasing. I think that is one factor I needed to talk to you about. The other thing is, in the geopolitical region, Pakistan, the fact that the situation is changing in Afghanistan, we believe that there will be peace in Afghanistan also in our neighborhood. And I think the biggest burden coming into this region is the fact that Afghanistan in the peaceful time has to be rebuilt. That is an opportunity for a lot of businesses and for a lot of people to be able to do work in Afghanistan for rebuilding Afghanistan. And I am confident with the changing geopolitical scenarios, Afghanistan is heading towards peace, and they have gone through tremendous misery. And whenever I discuss Afghanistan, I must impart something which I feel is very important, that Pakistan was open to the refugees coming from Afghanistan. 3.5 million refugees when wars had started, not war, but wars had started in Afghanistan 30 years ago or even 40 years ago. And Pakistan, officially, unofficially, in the public, I have never heard a voice that the refugees should not have been here. It is remarkable. When I look at the Western countries which are leading democracies, when I look at the Western countries which talk about morality with everybody, I find Pakistan here still host to 2.5 million refugees. I find Pakistan here where the third or fourth generation of these refugees is coming up. And I find in Pakistan that there has been a welcoming situation. Nothing I read ever where the people say that the refugees have to be sent back or they don't have to be accepted. We do say that they should be going back when the things are normal, things are better for them to go. But imagine a small country, developing country, and imagine if you look at Europe, for example, and if you look at other areas where there is a debate going on that such and such country will not take more than 1,200 refugees, somebody says we will not take more than 800 refugees. Imagine the moral stance which Pakistan has taken, and it has sacrificed for it, but it has ensured that there is a morality and there is humanity. And we feel about it. Whether we can afford it or we can't afford it, we feel about it. I think that is part of the maturity of the Pakistan people. Therefore, when I say that Pakistan is on the road, not only on the road to peace, but in the road towards merit in morality and all other things, I think this is a unique situation. While I find neighboring countries towards my east, for example, in India, where extremism is taking root, and I am requesting through these forums and other forums requesting the leadership in India, because once there is ethnic strife, once there is religious strife, it has a cycle of its own, it has dynamics of its own. And I am a witness to situations when Pakistan was on that, traveling on that road, being from Karachi. I thought that this cycle, this natural cycle of logic on that issue would be 5 or 10 years. It is not 5 or 10 years. It takes 2-3 decades to come out of such ethnic strife. Therefore, I believe for the geopolitical region as far as India and the subcontinent is concerned, I think the leadership across our borders should learn from what Pakistan has gone through and should ensure, because people are poor, if we talk about trade, peace, solution to the Kashmir issue, what will happen is there will be prosperity throughout the region. We are battling poverty, we are battling lack of education, we are battling health issues, which are very important as far as we are concerned, and therefore we believe it is important for the entire region. Pakistan, also something which is interesting, Pakistan has improved its connectivity throughout the world. As Central Asian countries acquired independence after the demise of the Soviet Union, they are looking at connectivity going into the Arabian Sea or in the Indian Ocean. We have the Gwadar port coming up, we have the CPEC route which is developing, we have other routes coming from Turkmenistan and other Central Asian countries which will link the trade routes which would link Central Asia to the sea through Pakistan, and in the export processing zones we are providing facilities for people to come here and invest. But the regional connectivity is also important. Therefore, those of the Pakistanis who are investing in Pakistan and establishing industries, and those who are coming from outside of Pakistan and investing here, there is a big market in the region, not only Pakistan, though Pakistan is one of the biggest markets in the world, upcoming markets, and soon as there is improving economic prosperity, what will happen is the number of buyers for anything will be tremendous. At the same time, let me tell you that I have taken an initiative personally with looking at the fourth industrial revolution and the changing situations throughout the world. I believe that the top 10 companies in the world today are more related to data, analysis of data, compared to about 20 years ago when the top 10 companies used to be oil, and majority of oil was there. Today majority of data is there. The top 7 are, for example, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Alibaba, for example, Tencent, and so therefore I believe that the next revolution will be the fourth industrial revolution in artificial intelligence, in cloud computing, in data analysis, in blockchain technology or distributed ledger, Internet of Things, Internet of Industrial Things. And today, for example, I had a meeting with the people in Silicon Valley who wanted to invest. The meeting was on video conferencing with people who are billionaires as far as investments in the internet and information technology is concerned. And we decided a few steps whereby we should be in the next year and the next 2 years, we will be producing computer specialists as demanded by the market. Until today, what has been happening, that the demand from institutions which would like to use their expertise is different from what we are producing. So my struggle in the next few weeks will be to, as I am the chancellor of about 24 universities, we are holding a meeting of the vice chancellors in the next week or two, whereby we will make sure of the fact that what is needed in the market is going to be produced in our educational institutions, which is very important for any progress to take place. The other thing which is happening is there is a lack of our educational institutions and universities. Their communication and their linkage with businesses in Pakistan is poor. A few years ago, we had thought as a government, we had thought that some members in the syndicate of these universities, if they come from the industrial side, it will help. But we have found that that does not help. Therefore, in the next few months, we are intending to make sure of the fact that there is better linkage. For example, in the textile sector, what the textile industry wants as specialists should be produced by our universities. The research which is being done should be relevant, should be applied research rather than ivory tower research. So that linkage we intend to establish very strongly, so that our educational institutions, our universities should should be giving out a produce which is needed by the people, not the fact that we are in the ivory sectors. And let me, ivory towers, and let me point out that has been true, for example, in medicine and dentistry. I am a dentist primarily, and I have realized over the years that what we have produced are people who can treat. But what the country needs is people who can prevent diseases. So this anomaly and such anomalies are very important to be corrected, because the direction is national. The direction is not the fact that we educate people and they go out and they make money. I think we should be educating people who would be able to go out and make money at the same time as they should be lifting themselves, their families, their regions and the country up to be able to compete in the world in a manner where what Pakistan deserves should be happening. So let me tell you our two important priorities today, which are not directly related to you but would be related to you in the next few years, is education, is making sure that children in Pakistan who are out of school and children who are in school get better education. We have to ensure the fact that people are provided, there should be a healthcare net whereby we ensure the fact that people come out of poverty, because what happens is that in a family, if a person gets sick and his entire earning of almost an entire generation goes out in trying to get his or her family member treated. So there we should be providing a health net, we should ensure that, we should be providing primary education, we should ensure that, and we should provide a situation where our women come into the job market, our women are secure, our women are able to take part in the development of the country as never before has happened, and we would like to ensure that in the next 4 or 5 years that our women also get educated, because what happens in the primary schools, that there is a dropout rate among the girls more so than the boys, but a country cannot progress if it leaves its women behind. So what this government What this government wants to do is ensure that we are battling on all fronts. We have defeated the horror of terrorism, we have defeated the horror of extremism, but we need to emancipate our deprived sectors, especially among the women. I must close my speech with the hope that I believe next year when you will meet us here back again, you will probably see the changes of a Naya means new for those of you who are from abroad. Naya, you will see the changes of a Naya, more emancipated and a progressive Pakistan. Thank you very much.